Hello, this week on 5 Brilliant Things, we had the fantastic comedian Andrew Mensah.
Matt Lucas told me a story that he did a gig and he died so hard as he was walking off the stage. A guy grabbed him by the collar and said, "If you ever come here again, I'll kill you."
Oh, God. But that's, imagine that after the gig. So the gig's already gone badly. If you try and rebook yourself, you're going to die.
Why are you watching Lee Evans? Like, that's not our thing. But really and truly, there needs to be more of that curiosity, because then you realise comedy is bigger than just Def Jam. Even if I look at who are like Stop the Boats guys, it's like, you guys don't know anyone black. You don't know anyone who's outside of your world.
I think you're bang on there. Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy did so much for race relations in America without even trying to, simply by being hilarious.
No, if I want to rob your house, I'm probably wearing Air Force Ones. But I could also go to your
You've
wedding.
just given a lot away. Like that. There's a footprint and you're like, Mensah.
Mensah
Yeah,
was
exactly.
it.
Yeah, exactly. Hello, Andrew Mensah.
Yes, Russell.
Now, shall we explain the backstory here?
This is surreal being here.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I've been rejected twice.
Yeah.
And I finally get to go on the date.
I
It's going to be underwhelming.
We've had Andrew booked twice to come on the show because he's fantastic. He's very funny. Both of the first time, my train broke down.
Yeah.
And I couldn't make it in. The second time, I was throwing up all night. I couldn't make it. And yesterday, I had chest pains, so I went to A&E. And as I was getting all these checks and these blood tests and this kind of CTG thing, in my head I was thinking, Mensah's cursed. Like, the mention of him leads me...
This makes me sick.
But in my head I was imagining me being wheeled in a wheelchair.
Yeah.
Just like talking at
evening,
like that, of just going, I have to make it. There's no way.
In A&E, like, you better fix me.
I have to be here. So it's nice to finally.
To be fair, the second one, I wasn't mad because I got in super late that day.
Okay.
That night.
Yeah.
So when Dan texted me like, Russell's ill, I was like,
thank
fuck.
Yeah. Well, here we are finally.
We're here, man.
Pleasure. You're wearing a fantastic shell suit.
Yeah, Italian one.
It's an Italian one. It really works.
Thank you, man.
The vibrancy of the colours.
I'm trying to go for like retired mobster look. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, Italian mafia, like,
yeah,
doesn't know about football but likes the garments.
Yeah, I think so. You've kind of got that. You look like you could be running a sort of tiki bar. You know?
Yeah.
Do you ever wear kind of like sort of non-football clothes?
Do you know what happened though? Because when I started comedy, I started a show which was about football shirts.
Yes.
So I ended up just collecting loads, and then because I was like so nervous starting out, I used to always like think about what I was wearing.
Mm-hmm.
And then I said I got to stop this, so I just started wearing tracksuits, because then I just don't have to think about, I'm like, if I'm wearing this top, I'm wearing this thing. And then like just through, because people know I'm a football fan, like there was a guy who like has like a vintage shop, so he would just like send me stuff, so I just ended up getting loads of stuff. And
for non-football fans listening, that is, I mean, it doesn't get more exciting than that.
Yeah.
That's the equivalent of just like, you know, if you're into handbags, somebody going, here's a Fendi from 1978 that they say Johan Cruyff.
And literally it was so weird. Like I was walking in Soho. I was walking to Top Secret actually, and the guy just ran across the street from me. Yo, I thought like, this guy gonna rob. That's where I'm from. Like, this guy gonna rob me. And he was just like, oh man, I love your stuff. Like I have this shop. I was like, oh sick man, and we just exchanged numbers. So
that's when you knew you'd made it.
Yeah, I was like,
when you thought you were gonna get robbed, but you were actually being offered something for free. You're like, this is it.
It's beautiful,
So nice to have you on. What is your first brilliant thing?
My first brilliant thing is Morley's chicken shop in South London.
Okay, I've never been.
Never been to Morley's?
No.
Ever heard of Morley's?
Nope.
Right, so Morley's was like a fast food chicken shop. It was only in South London. It started in Sydenham. But I just remember like looking back as a kid, it kind of just taught you loads of things, because like the food was cheap. So it's like when you're growing up poor, it's like I just knew if I could get £1, I could be fed. So it kind of gives you like a small thing to kind of try to. So I always go to school. That would be my whole hustle. Okay, how can I get £1 in school? Because we would get dinner disc, and the school food was rubbish, innit? So what I would do, I would like sell my dinner disc, or I'd play like penny up, and like try and build a pound that I could get 4 wings and chips at the end of the day.
Yeah.
And that would be it. And it's like, then I kind of felt like I wouldn't need to put pressure on my mum for like cook or things like that, because I just knew I could do it. And I just remember like as a kid, like that
Did you genuinely, were things that precarious?
Yeah, like growing up, like you just, at the time you just think it's normal, innit? Do you know what I mean? I just think, oh, like we don't have much money, but like no one has money. Do you know what I mean? Like around us.
But to be thinking like that, to think, I've got my pound's worth of chicken, which was exciting and delicious, but also there's less pressure on my mum.
Yeah, because I always felt
that's an incredible insight to have as a kid.
Yeah, because like I always felt like growing up, it was very it always felt early. My parents were under pressure. Like they had a calmness about them. They're very religious, but it was always like an air of like they're going through it. Because like my mum would work for like 3 jobs, so my mum would be up early and stuff like that, and come home late. So I always knew like they're not telling us everything that's going on here, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So always anything I could do to like relieve my mum's like pressure, like I would, if that makes sense. And sometimes like, and then when I was like an older kid, like my mum would like maybe snap at something that seemed fine. Do you know what I mean? Like you're not doing the hoovering or you're not doing this, and it kind of seemed like,
what's this actually about?
Yeah, sort of thing. And the big thing in our house was 2 things. That my dad hated like wasting heating. So if you had the window open in the winter or like the door open, he hated that. And my mum
never had a cat flap.
yeah. Never. He's trying to keep every ounce of heat in. It don't matter.
The cat died. Yeah.
Yeah, even pencils can't like everything.
Yeah.
And then like my mum also hated wasting food.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I always used to think, okay, those 2 things, it's like, oh, like what's like a couple of peas, like, but that was like a big thing. But now I realize as an adult, like, oh, like that was expensive sort of thing. So just like growing up, it was just like it kind of just taught me how to like hustle and stand for myself and sort of thing.
So what was your favourite meal from Morley's when you were a little kid, and what is your favourite meal now?
Okay, see, obviously I got money now, so it's different.
Sure.
It's different. So like when I was a kid, you could get 4 wings and chips for £1.
Shut up.
Yeah.
What year is that?
So this is like, I would say from about 2002 to about 2008, 9.
How confident, Andrew, are you that they were actually chickens?
No, I'm not confident.
Yeah.
Actually, I actually don't think it is.
But
it's nice.
Did it taste nice?
It tastes so good.
This is it.
But yeah, so you could get 4 wings and chips for £1, and then for £2 you could get 6 wings and chips, but the box was bigger, so you get more chips.
Gotcha.
So that was my goal. Every goal was if I could get to £2, then I've made it. £2.50 you could get a drink as well.
Chaos.
Yeah, so £1.50 you could get 4 wings and chips for a drink. But like there was
loads of. Are they hot wings?
Hot wings, yeah. But then also there was like another. Morley's had a rival place on the same high street called like Mozza. But Mozza was too cheap, even as a broke kid. And like they would do like kebab and chips, meat and chips, 75p. Wow. I knew I shouldn't be putting that in my body. There's nothing, there's no meat that should cost 75p. Do you know what I mean?
Well, what a tagline that would be for Mozza to kind of go, they say there's no meat that should cost 75p. Well, we've done it.
Yeah, we've done it sort of thing. But yeah, and then now, like, if I go to Morley's, probably after a late night, I'll get what's called the Morley's Melody. So that's like, right now, that's inflation, that's like £8.
Okay.
Yeah.
And what is the Morley's Melody?
Morley's Melody, you get chicken, you get wings, you get ribs.
Wow.
Yeah, and you get chips, but you also get a special side, like a beans or coleslaw and a drink. That's where I'm like, I've made it.
Sensational.
yeah. Sort of
what does that feel like? Do you ever go back to that same Morley's that you went to as a kid?
Yeah, because I still live in Greenwich. So the thing about Greenwich is like, and Charlton was like, it was another thing. It was very like two-sided. So you had Greenwich that had Cutty Sark and the O2 and all of these fancy places, but you had a lot of like council estates and stuff. So you know, like up the Creek Comedy Club, like behind that Haddow Estate is where we all grew up, and it was very like rough and gang led and stuff. So I'll tell you a story that like kind of like pictures it. Like when we was like kids, I remember one time we were just hanging outside the corner shop, just like 7 of us, hoodies, whatever. And as we're walking, we see this like elderly couple hit a corner, and this guy had this like pristine like white suit, and she had like a really like beautiful dress on with like pearls and stuff. And they've hit the corner in Greenwich and seen us. And the fear in their eyes was just like something they've never seen before. And we all started laughing because we knew exactly what it was. They'd probably gone to some fancy event in the Cutty Sark somewhere and parked their car somewhere and hit the wrong corner. Now they're in the ends. And I remember asking the guy, like, oh, you guys lost your car sort of thing. And asked him to describe where it was and basically directed him where to go, basically. And the guy was so scared, he kind of gave me £20. Like, oh, here you go. Yeah. But that was like how it was growing up. So it's like you saw a lot of like wealth and stuff.
Yeah.
But then also saw a lot of like, you know, like where we were. So like the Morleys I lived on was kind of in like, it was in East Greenwich. So it's like where I live now in Maze Hill, which is much nicer. It wasn't too far from the estate that I grew up on, if that makes sense. Yeah. So I still go there sometimes all the time. And also it's like, Morley's is like a very cultural thing in South London. Like there's loads of things, like Stormzy shot one of his first music videos there.
Right.
They do like cultural things where like the chicken shop girl like has done it in Morley's a few times where she's had like people from South London. So it's like been a big staple. So like going there kind of feels like I'm still.
Are you now recognised in that? Do you know the owners? Have you got like that relationship?
No, but we call him boss man, but the boss man has changed.
Of course.
Yeah, and also I always feel being a boss man is it's like a football manager. It's a tight. Your head's on a chopping block because if you don't get the right people in, they get rid of the boss men.
Really?
Yeah, so there's been about 10, 15 boss men in my lifetime.
Wow, so it's like Watford Football Club. You're just getting rid of all the boss men.
Yeah, they get rid of them. Yeah.
What,
so it's like the same owner, but then there would be different guys working the thing. We call him boss, yeah.
Is there a secondary name if you haven't quite got up to boss?
Nah, every guy in there.
As soon as you're in there, you're boss man.
You're boss man. It's you behind the counter,
you're the boss.
You boss man. And then if it's like, if you know him, it's boss.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that.
They do a boss man burger. They've leaned.
Yeah. Boss man burger. How you know that?
Yeah. Very good question, Andrew. How do you know what they're serving at Morley's?
Because it's what I order.
Well, because Dan used to live. Where do you live?
We were just up the road. Anyway, it was 20 minutes from up the creek.
One of the great gigs that up the creek.
Yeah, so that must be. I heard back in your day though, it was like, it was crazy like Millwall guys and Matt Lucas told me a story that he did a gig. And he died so hard as he was walking off the stage. A guy grabbed him by the collar and said, "If you ever fucking come here again, I'll kill you."
Oh, God. But imagine that after the gig. So the gig's already gone badly, and then it's just in case you didn't feel bad about yourself. If you try and rebook yourself, you're gonna die.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, but I loved it because it felt like, I think the thing that was always really interesting about Greenwich, and it sort of goes back to what you just said, that it always felt like there was quite well-to-do people there were students there, and there were geezers. So there was there was a
mix of life,
real mix, and it could be, if you got the kind of blend right, it could be the most amazing gig, because it felt like this kind of incredible representation of kind of a London gig. As someone coming from Bristol, I would always get there really early and kind of just sit upstairs and be slightly nervous and then go on, and I looked like I was 12. So it just felt like, hello.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying, like Creek always felt to me like what is that? Like
for you, that must have felt so far away from your world.
From our world, but it's right there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was literally like a street down. We used to think, because you remember Creek had that weird, like it was like a lady looking out the window thing. I used to think, what in the devil is going on in that place? Sort of. I used to think these lot are probably weird. And if you go upstairs at the Creek, they've got all of those things still there.
Yes.
And I remember just thinking that feels like a different world to me.
Yeah.
But then it was just like, so then when I started comedy, it was always like, I want to play the Creek. So like now it's like when they're playing the Creek, all the guys come through because you're at the Creek, because it's like it just feels like that's something that we're right there and we kind of conquered. I really love doing Creek now because it's like, it gives me like a more of a hope of how society actually is.
Okay.
Where it's like you've got different classes, different colours, and it's like we all kind of get each other. Whereas it doesn't feel like that. If you look on social media or if you look on, it feels like, oh, there's those people over there, the Stop the Boat guys. But the white boys I grew up are just like me. They're just like, we're all working class, we're all trying to figure this stuff out. And like, sometimes you get pockets of gigs that feel like that, if that makes sense. That feel like more like a representation of what's actually how human beings actually are.
Yeah, well, exactly. And it's like comedy is like laughter is like a love language, and it's not for everybody. Like, you know, a lot of people don't have a sense of humor, but the people that do, when you get them stuffed into a comedy club,
Yeah.
you know, 200 people just lost in laughter at something that you wouldn't have thought they would laugh at. It's the best. Oh, I'm really enjoying this chat. What is your next brilliant thing, Andrew?
Okay, my next thing is Air Force Ones.
Okay.
Trainers. Air Force Ones is what I call, they're the Swiss Army knife of trainers.
Okay.
So
Why is that?
Okay, so
Big in the 80s.
Okay, if I want to rob your house, yeah, I'm probably wearing Air Force Ones. But I could also go to your
You've
wedding.
just given a lot away. Like that. If there's a footprint and you're like, Mensah.
Mensah was it.
Yeah, exactly. And I'll touch a door and I'm like, oh, my heart's gone. Fuck Mensah. So go on.
But also, I went to a wedding and the groom was wearing some prestige Air Force Ones. And I'm like, that's range. That's like that's Tom Hanks.
Yeah.
That's something that can go from a ride out robbery to a wedding. And I don't think there's any other footwear.
Imagine that as an advert. Imagine that as an advert. Just
Tom
somebody
Hanks.
you could wear these to rob somebody or at your wedding. Air Force Ones. As worn originally by Mickey Jordan.
Yeah.
Wow. Can I ask you something? And I feel very, very white when I ask this. Of all the... I remember doing a Big Fat Quiz of the Year with Babatunde.
Yeah.
And he looked down at my trainers we're in the middle of a TV recording, right? And there was some mud on my trainers.
Oh, no,
and he was horrified.
Yeah,
I had a similar I had a sort of a blemish, and Mo Gilligan looked at my trainers and was like, what the... What? I don't know any of my kind of white friends who get quite so upset when I have dirty trainers.
Yeah.
But whenever I hang out with black guys and they look at the state of my trainers,
that's the key to it.
But what is it?
There's something there's something about, because it's like you need things to brag about, innit?
Right.
You feel me? So certain guys got chains, certain guys got nice watches, but everyone can get a nice pair of trainers. So that's what I'm saying. The reason I loved Air Force Ones is because...
Look at that, there's nothing on yours.
That's what I'm trying to say.
What I'm asking is, how do you avoid puddles?
Yeah, but come on, Russ, we don't walk in a puddle, bro. I feel like, for example, there's a girl that I used to work with. I remember she had some fresh trainers, innit? And I looked, she's a white girl, so I was shocked. I was like, I can't believe how fresh these trainers are.
Yeah, exactly.
So I was like, yo, like, those trainers are sick.
You're asking about her lineage. So are you...
I'm like, where you really from? Where you from? Come on. And then she was like, I remember she said something that really mortified me. She was like, I was like, these trainers are so good. She goes, yeah, I haven't quite broke them in yet. I'm going to go to a festival this weekend and then they'll be ready. Oh. And I remember the feeling sick. Like, why would you wear those trainers to a festival? It's like they invite the grit.
Yeah.
But when you've lived in grit, you want everything else fresh.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
Sure, I understand. I get it now.
But also the Air Force growing up.
So in many ways, they're representing you.
Yeah.
So if you've kind of, if they got a bit of mud on, like that you're not really looking after yourself. There's a self-pride attached.
Yeah, and also like also that was another thing, like in African households, like how you look is like everything. Like if I went to school, my mum would like spend like 20 minutes just combing my hair, just so you had a look. So there's no way you could just be walking around with battered trainers, because it's like you're not looking after yourself. Whereas some people look at that as
so you're
cool.
representing the family.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And then also Air Force were kind of cheap. They were the cheaper of the trainer. So you could get Air Force for like £40. Whereas like a lot of like, you know, Air Max 90s were costing like 110 or whatever. But the Air Force Ones you could get, and you could wear them to school because they were all black, but then you could wear them out. So it was like a good versatility trainer. Like you could buy like one pair and then it could serve you for different purposes. Do you know what I mean?
How many trainers have you got?
I can't lie, it's actually it's not good, man. I've got too many trainers. Because I just see one and I just go, that could...
It's funny, isn't it? I'm a bit like that with football boots.
Yeah.
I don't even
you got
play,
football? You don't even...
I don't even play anymore.
Hang on, back up.
And give a brother
Like,
room.
what are we talking about? Like six pairs? 7
Nah,
pairs?
I think I've got 150 pairs of trainers in my house, yeah. It's getting so... But if you come to my house, there's like a wall just by the stairs of just boxes. I'll show you it's bad.
Boxes, they're not even out the box.
No. Wow. And that's what I'm saying. I'm not, because some people collect trainers. If that makes, I don't do that. Like, I'm not. No, but some people like.
Some people have got a problem.
Yeah. Some people like collect trainers, as in their fingers to buy. You know, how people collect watches. Yeah. I don't. I just buy them and then wear them once, and then I forget I have them.
Wow.
So then I'll be like, I need a fresh pair of white trainers, but then I've got like 6 in the cupboard, something that I haven't looked at. Yeah. But growing up, I just thought I always loved trainers. It was just one thing where like people could go, oh, you got some fresh trainers, and Air Force Ones you could always just.
So those are the ones, Air Force Ones. Do you have any extra details on trainers?
The Air Force Ones, released in October 1982.
Okay.
Nike's best ever selling shoe.
No shit.
Come on, Russ. I'm telling you, bro.
White was the best selling colour, closely followed by black.
So what, more than Air Jordans?
Yeah. So because it came first and they just this utility shoe thing. Wow. So it was the first air shoe, the Air Force One, and they took the hiking boot technology and put it into a shock-absorbing sole for basketball players originally, and then it became like a fashion.
Wow.
But also, it's like, Jordans were expensive.
Yes.
That's the thing. I can see why they're more selling, because that, as I said, like growing up, you could get a pair of Air Force Ones. Even now, like obviously inflation and that, but even now, of all the trainers, they're like the cheapest ones. Like the fashion ones. Yeah. So it makes sense.
What is your next brilliant thing?
Okay, my next brilliant thing is it kind of showcases where I'm at now in life. Padel.
Oh yeah.
It's so middle class,
I made the mistake, man.
What happened?
I called it Padel.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Is that wrong?
Yeah, it is. Because I was at Soho Farmhouse. I mean, so that's 2 big hits. But I sort of said, just out of interest, I said, is it Padel or Padel?
Oh yeah, because there's paddle courts there in Soho Farmhouse.
Yeah. And this lady went, Padel. And you instantly go, okay.
Oh no.
It's great though, isn't it?
It's so fun. Like,
And how old are you now?
I'm 30.
So this is it. You still got the legs though.
Yeah, so
you should still be playing proper sports. Apologies to all.
No, you're right.
Paddle enthusiasts.
You're right. It's not a proper sport. Honestly,
it's like ultimate frisbee. It's like ultimate frisbee, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's a bit of waste ground where people who can't play proper football sport.
Or tennis. Yeah.
But that's what's great about it. It's paddle is that it's a bit like tennis is a fun sport, but you got to have your eye in,
and you have to be fit.
Yeah.
It's the same with football. Like, I play football now. I'm like, you know what? I'm working. I'm working hard. My legs are a bit achy after a day, but I could play paddle all the time, and it's like you still get a feeling of fitness slightly, but you're not as dead. And also the entry level is low. Anyone can start. If you haven't played football as a kid and that, you're never going to be good at football.
Agreed.
Do you feel me? Where it's like paddle is just like, it's fun. It's very social. And it's just very middle class. And that's why I just have to embrace that I'm middle class now. I drink caramel lattes.
Oh, do you?
I care about human rights a lot. Like this.
Yeah.
I'm middle class, bro.
What's your dog called?
Hermes.
Very good. Very good.
Hermes,
Everyone up.
Yeah.
What's your favourite court of choice? And who's your favourite person to play against?
Oh, it's a good question. So I play in Bermondsey. And it's right near the Millwall ground.
Nice.
Which feels like
so very middle class all of a sudden. Yeah.
It feels like it feels like we're intruding on that area.
Presumably if your ball goes into the den, you're like, well, just leave it there.
Yeah.
Excuse me, we've left our paddle.
Yeah.
No, you're right. Yeah.
You're good. So like we played there a lot. There's one in Purley, but there's also one in Canary Wharf, which is good. Nice. But a lot of the times I've been playing with my friends. Like I play with my friend Dejan, who's really good. Like we went to Soho Farmhouse. It was so funny. So we went to Soho Farmhouse. We were playing, me and Dejan. Looked to the right of us in the next court, Wayne Rooney.
Wow.
Wayne Rooney was playing.
What's he like?
Wayne Rooney's a cool guy. It's so funny because like...
Is he good at paddle?
He didn't look too good. But he didn't look too good. Also, Rooney, like, he's a big guy now.
Yeah.
Just like that, you know. Rooney kind of looks...
It's amazing. He's gone from...
He's younger than Ronaldo.
Yeah.
Let's put it like that.
But he's gone from a footballer to...
Yes.
But he's gone from like a footballer to Henry VIII in like feels like a
year.
You know? But it was clearly he was keeping the door shut. And then Colleen must have been working overtime just to keep him away from crisps and
all
Kit
of that
Kat.
stuff.
I bet you he's got a cupboard that
Yeah.
had a lock on it. And
I remember like
she had to change the lock every time. And Ferguson was probably calling her up going, he's got in there again, hasn't he? because I found some, you know.
Literally, he was keeping, because there's certain players like Wesley Sneijder. Have you seen him?
Oh, huge.
Yeah,
Crazy.
they were keeping the door locked, but he was playing paddle, and then it was so funny because the ball went out, innit? Like went out, so I didn't know he was there. They had finished and they were sitting just on the other side of our paddle court, but I couldn't see him. So the ball went out, and I just smashed the ball with, laced the ball with my feet across the court, and I went, Rooney! But he was right there, and he just looked around. I was like, oh, bro, so sorry.
Well, you were saying that because when you kick a ball really hard.
Yeah, you just scream Rooney.
So funny.
Yeah. I was like, Rooney! And he was literally right there. He started laughing. And my friend asked him for snus, and he gave him a whole packet of snus.
Oh,
It's
mate.
so funny. He's just a cool guy.
Yeah, he
but
seems like a lovely fella, eh? He just
Yeah.
seems like, because he's friends with a friend of mine, and yeah, would kind of, you know, apparently he was legendary at some of the soccer aids, you know, like obsessed with singing. So like, if you're any kind of musician, Rooney wouldn't let you go to bed because he's like, come on, we'll just stay up and we'll sing some songs.
Yeah. He's proper into music. Yeah, like he does those broadcasts with K Kurd.
Yes.
And Kay was telling me like he just loves like music. He was talking about like Dave's album and stuff. And also it's like sometimes now I'm in the industry, I forget like how monumental people were to me. Like someone like yourself, like it's kind of mad.
Yeah,
Like,
it?
you're actually Russell Howard.
Right.
Like I think about that. Like, have you felt like that interacting with anyone where you're like, raw, like that's so and so?
Of course, yeah. So I met Jurgen Klopp, and that was insane, and just like so rare that you actually get to. It'd be like you meeting Glasner.
Yeah.
Who was the Crystal Palace.
Glasner was playing paddle in the court next to me 2 weeks ago.
And you must have said thank you.
I just couldn't. I couldn't like.
Wow.
There's certain people I just can't chat to them.
Do you know one of the worst things is? So it's great when you meet heroes. What's a very peculiar feeling is if you meet somebody that you, as a younger man, masturbated over. That is a terrifying feeling, but it's just a fact. You know, you find yourself you're on Jonathan Ross, and Kylie Minogue's been booked, and in your head you're going, does she know? Does she know?
She knows.
Yeah, and it's that weird vibe that you know, because obviously Kylie was you know, she was in my teenage sweet spot. So I often think about that, and do they know? Does Kelly Brook know? do all the do you know what I mean? It's just this but it's a weird thing that we can never speak about, and you'd be a vulgarian for speaking about it. But yeah, that's definitely crazy. An odd point, you know? I remember meeting Judi Dench and it was a nightmare. Because apparently Dench used to wank over me.
You know she's blind now.
Yeah, that's what they say.
She can't see.
Yeah. Because of all the
yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
No, she is actually.
No, is she really? Yeah. Oh gosh, sorry, Jude.
Sorry, Jude, man. Shout out to Jude.
So she's really into podcasts.
Yeah. It's but it is it's an interesting thing when you sort of meet heroes.
But
are there any others? Go on, what were you going to say?
Also, no, I just think in terms of like the paddle stuff, it kind of feels like, because it kind of just it kind of feels like as your economic situation changes, a lot of the times your beliefs and interests change, which is what my first show is about. It's because I grew up like really religious as a kid, but like we were poor in it, and broke people need miracles. So it makes sense now that I was like that, and I feel like as people move, so like why am I interested in paddle and different and matcha and stuff like that? It's just because like I've got time on my hands now, and it's much more of a different thing, because like paddle is such a like a middle class. It's kind of expensive to play. It's like they do socials where you have like wine and play paddle with some hot girl for 15 minutes, and do you know what I mean? It's such a middle class thing, and I feel like since becoming middle class, like my interests and beliefs have changed a lot.
Okay,
and I do feel like it.
Are there any things that you can't get into?
What do you mean?
As in any middle class things that you just think aren't for me, and any working class things you think I can't leave?
Yeah, that's for like Morley's. Like I can't get on cheese, bro.
Yeah,
cheese. I don't get it. This cheese board.
You're very right. Like
it feels like gone off food.
Yeah, if you're working class, it is very rare that you would have a favourite cheese. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of, but it's just because
cheese. I don't get it.
If you said that you like brie or camembert, when you were a kid, you would have been beaten up.
Yeah, you would have been beaten up. You would have been beaten up.
But
Or
it's
you would have
just-
been wedged and thrown in a recycling bin.
Just for for being a weirdo. Do you know what I mean? It's like that. But it's funny. Like when I was a kid, there were Baby Bells and Edam, and there were Dairy triangles, and that was your.
That was it.
Yeah.
Like the cheese I like is not real cheese. Like I like American cheese on a burger.
My wife likes that. They're kind of like fake cheese.
Fake cheese, yeah.
I always have to, I tell you what, it's hard to find them in Waitrose. Do you know what I mean? And you kind of, excuse me, where's the cheese? Well, it depends which fromagerie you want. I don't want any actual cheese. I want dirty, filthy cheese.
So I remember like, when I first signed with my agent, like first Christmas, they sent me like, is it Fulton Masons?
Yes.
Like a basket of cheese.
Yeah, it's just full of wicker in it.
I was like,
full of wicker, and you're sort of going, okay, pick a lily, great.
yeah.
Italian biscuits, fantastic. Is there anything an actual human would eat? And then it just gets dust in your cupboard.
Yeah.
But
literally.
the case,
the case is beautiful.
The case is beautiful. That's how they
So I
win.
did it. I remember like I just went to like my neighbour, lovely sweet lady, and I just said, "Would you like some cheese?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I just gave her the whole basket. I was like, when you finish with the basket, though, give it back to me.
She was like, "Oh, thank God! I thought you were going to fart in your hand and give it to me. Thank God."
Yeah.
Wasn't that? No, that was a cupcake, wasn't it? Where you'd fart in your hand and give it.
I was wearing Air Force One, so she might have thought I was going to rob her house.
Lovely. Have you ever played Padel?
No,
Paddle?
I think it's quite culty.
Okay.
I agree, though. That is true. It's the high rocks of sports, if that makes sense.
What's the high rocks?
Have you heard of high rocks?
No.
So high rocks is like this thing now. It's like this. There's that in the last 4 or 5 years, people have just become massive fitness freaks. Well, I'm gonna run 6 marathons or something like that. Well, high rocks epitomizes that. So it's like this like fitness program. So like me and you might do high rocks together. So it's like 8 exercise stations, and in between each 8, you have to run 1 kilometer.
Got you.
So it'll be like burpees and then run 1 kilometer.
I saw a young boy at the gym the other day. He's probably about 12, and it depressed the hell out of me.
He's 12.
12, but imagine 12, and he was on a treadmill with that look of like, I've got to.
Yeah,
You should be just running, climbing up a tree.
Yeah.
So a bit sad, isn't it? It's
Sad,
kind of-
very sad. Yeah. Like even like I remember like my little like cousin was like, oh, like Andrew, I want to do this. I was just like, bro, you're 14, do whatever you want, fam.
Yeah.
Like you've got time to figure your life out. But I do think because of social media, I just think they might see a 16-year-old like on a private jet. So they're like, oh, that's what.
But see, that's
it's like you don't, bro. No 16-year-olds on a private jet. Do you know what I mean?
But also that's what's funny, I think, because I think we've lost that, and it's that thing of like where if you bragged too much at school, you would be beaten up.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying that's right, but
I'm saying it's right.
But what I'm saying is, it's like if the rich kids of Instagram, millions of people follow them, but if you were a rich kid at school telling everyone how rich you were, you would lose the currency
You would lose the crowd,
of popularity.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
it's
good
very
point.
interesting how now that is something that's desirable, where once it was like, all right, mate, wind your neck in.
Yeah.
It's kind of, it's that feels definitely where society has changed, where kind of somebody has everything. We used to be impressed by how they got it. Now we're impressed in what they've got.
Yeah. Very interesting. Yeah,
It's kind
very
of
true.
fascinating.
It may not be as bad as everyone thinks. I think a lot of people follow all this.
Okay, that's
That is true, though.
Not all followers are the same.
Well, that's a very good point.
I would follow rich kids of Instagram.
Yeah, a lot of
because
people
it's a
hating.
fascinating car crash.
Yeah. A lot of people hating.
That's a really good, but that's interesting because everything goes through the prism of followers. And,
Yeah,
But they
yeah.
should be different colours. So you could go, oh, they've got 10 million followers, but like 60% of them are green.
And also, a lot of people aren't like, aren't rich. I remember there's a girl called Little Tay. Little Tay, it was like she was just like this young kid, and she would just be like throwing money and stuff, but it wasn't hers. But you don't know that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you don't know that. Or it's like, Dion Cole has a funny joke where he was like, you got these women who are like normal women thinking they're ugly because they're watching people like Nicki Minaj, and you're in your cubicle and you're seeing Nicki Minaj, and you're like, I want to look like Nicki Minaj, and he's like, well, Nicki Minaj doesn't look like Nicki Minaj. Do you know what I mean? It's all like, it's all smoke and mirrors sort of thing. And I think a lot of the times what happens is like because of social media, you could just frame things. Like, for example, I can do a massive gig. I could open for you at a gig and be like, I've opened for Russell Howard. And people be like, oh, that was great. But I could have died at that gig.
Yes.
But no one on the thousands of people on social media won't know. They will just think I'm good.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? And that's how people can frame things. So it's like, can I appear to be a certain way rather than being a certain way?
What is your next brilliant thing?
Articulate.
Okay, what, the game?
The game Articulate is the greatest game.
Right.
If you want to see someone's true colours, Articulate is just... Have you played it before?
Do you know, I don't think I have.
Basically, it'll be different categories. So it might be objects, doing word, like nature or whatever. So me and you in a team, I have these cards and then I have to describe what's on the card without saying it.
Gotcha.
And then you just have to guess. And then as many points as we can get, we move up the...
I see.
Up the thing, yeah. But it's just like... because it's also educational. You just learn so many things because it's like a category called person. So you might be on it, Russell Howard. I'll be like, oh, comedian, talks about politics. Someone's like, and then you just end up knowing, and then you're like, oh, and who is that guy? You know what I mean? And there's so many things you realize, oh, I don't know, which I loved about the game because it kind of put me in a space of like, I don't know most things, which I feel like we're living in a culture of like, people know everything who have like, because I don't know, it feels weird to me because you have like, in my head when I was growing up, we had like politicians, yeah, and us, but now it feels like we have like politicians and we almost have like commentators. And I always used to think the people growing up, the people who would commentate on like politics and that would be a comedian, would be a rapper, would be some. But now you've got people whose job is to just talk about, have takes on things, right? And what really irks me about those people, yeah, is one, they're always in their bedroom, which it feels like you guys don't go out, so it feels like what you're seeing on your phone is what you think is happening in real life.
Yep.
And two, none of them have ever gone, I don't quite know about that. I got that thing wrong. So it means like it puts everything into question what you say, because it's like, how can you know about all of this thing? You know what I mean? How can your opinion on football be as good as your opinion on, you know, the Democrats or whatever? It's like a weird thing that we're having. And this game makes you realize very quick, I don't know how to describe that. Do you know what I mean?
When did you get into Articulate?
I think...
Was it a Christmas?
Yeah, it's a Christmas thing. Like a few years ago, someone bought it for me and we played it at Christmas with all my friends. And my cousins were there, and it was just like proper like intense and like trying to get round. And obviously people be cheating, innit? People be hiding cards and looking at cards. And
Who's the cheat in your family?
My cousin Ketchy is like Ebbs' older brother.
Yeah,
the biggest cheat, and he's sly with it because he's a nice guy. So people don't see. He's like trying to be charming and that, but then he's talking to you and he's hiding cards and stuff. Like he's proper on it, and he's very slick. And then I got my friend Kelvin, who's like the worst loser. Yeah. So everyone just targets Kelvin because they just, and he gets so upset. He's like, "Oh, it's always me. Why are you not always trying to get me out or whatever?" But it's just like, but that's when I really got into it, and it's just like it started to make me more curious as a human. Do you know what I mean? Because I feel like we just get fixated on what we know, but it's just like, it made me like nature. I've never been into nature, but that because of this game,
really,
I started like, yo, trees, different kind of trees. Yeah, you realize that the world is so vast beyond your circle. Because I think like growing up in South London and growing up on the estate, you kind of get caught up in that being so important. Like even like gang culture as a kid, like I think about it, like we're of a certain postcode, so we're beefing Deptford, and it's like that's a mile away. Like the thinking is too small. Like why are you stabbing someone or potentially killing someone and spending the rest of your life in prison over something that minute, if you think about it?
With someone who lives a mile away who you've probably got so much in
common with. And it's like, and it was such a, when I think about it, it's so fucked up because like guys would ride around in places like Deptford or Thamesmead looking for guys who look like them, if that makes sense. Yeah. So if they saw a guy who looked like you, they wouldn't trouble them. But it's like, as you said, that person's probably got so much in common, probably got an immigrant parent, all of those things. And it's like, those are the people you're attacking because our mind is like so warped in, like this small thing thinking it's massive. Do you know what I mean?
is that like growing up in the sort of shadow of like gang culture? Is it terrifying, or does it just become your normal?
Becomes normal, but you just become a bit like, yeah, some things become normal, but some things are still shocking. Like seeing someone get stabbed or like chased or whatever is a bit like wow. But then certain things become normal, like, and my older brother who was in the streets a lot of the time was like very like conscious of not making things normal. So like for example, like it might be little things like friends might come over and then they might be talking about girls in an explicit way and smoking weed. Yeah, that seems fine, right? It doesn't seem that deep. But my brother would make sure we weren't in the room because if that becomes normal, then other things become desensitized. If that makes sense.
So, how much older is he than you?
10 years older.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
So he was making a real effort.
Yeah. And his best friend, who they were both in the same sort of gang together. His younger brother was our age, and his brother wasn't like that. His brother let him come around and all of that kind of stuff. And then, as we grew older, I could see our friend just like slowly becoming like more like just invested in street culture, and it just became more and more normal, like the way he was thinking and stuff. And then we kind of separated, and as we got older, he ended up like basically going to prison for murder. So I still visit him and stuff, and still keep in contact and that. But it's like I realized like how close you was to that. So people think like no one goes from zero to a murderer like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
It's like slowly paced. So like even if you take your career, like you don't go from an open micer to Russell Howard. You gigged for years plowing through, and it's the same with anything. And I see it so many times of like, and I think one of the main things is people are not curious enough, and they're not like, what's beyond this? Then like when I spoke to him at the time, like around the time when we were kids, like there was nothing beyond our state, our way of life. It was like, what's Mexico like? What's this place like? What's this music like? You know, it was very much, this is ours and this is the only thing we know.
Is there, do you think, with what you were saying, I'm going to do a full 360 on what I was saying about social media earlier. Do you think now that there is a difference if you're growing up in that you could literally have a phone and see what it looks like in Thailand?
Yeah, which is why I think there's two sides to that. There's one because there's one where like social media a lot of times will like make things more embarrassing. Here's what I mean, yeah. So when I was a kid, if I got robbed, yeah, only me and the robber knew. I got robbed, the robber knew he robbed me. I didn't even have to tell my mum. No one could know. Now with social media, you could get robbed and it be on social media, the robbery. So now now thousands of people know you got robbed. So now you're embarrassed. And that's what drives people crazy when they're embarrassed. That makes them want to retaliate in a violent way or whatever. Whereas like you could get robbed and just let it go. Be like, this is between me and God and the robber. Do you know what I mean? But I think that's what happened. So it like made things much worse in a sense. But then also I think a lot of kids now are like, oh, that's stupid. Because like being in a gang is stupid because this guy's flying across the world and it's things they can do. It's like people are streaming, people are playing games. Like I hosted a FIFA tournament. The 14-year-old kid won £2 million in front of me. What? Did you feel me? And his mum was driving him to he's playing FIFA. And I think that makes people go, oh, like I'm not losing my life. Like I was in court the other day. One of my friends got 11 years in prison.
Yeah. The
judge gave him 11 years like it was nothing. And he said next, like he was just giving out candy. And I remember thinking like, that can't be worth it. Do you know what I mean? That little lick you did or whatever it is, like that little beef you had with this person, it can't be worth losing 14 years of your life when someone's just gonna give you that time like it's nothing to them.
Do you, when you do stand-up, would you talk about things like this?
Yeah.
Because it feels so, again, with what you just said about articulate, that you're sort of you are in a position to educate through entertainment.
Yeah.
In a really interesting way. And there's oddly, not to put pressure on you, but there'll be young kids that will see you being funny about that your humor will make them go, oh, yeah, he's right. And sort of inadvertently or advertently move them away from gang culture, which is a fascinating place to be in.
But it's like I've seen it, and what I mean is like, and what I mean about curiosity, let's say growing up, like, we liked comedy,
Mm-hmm. Who are your guys?
Here's what I mean, so we'll be used to being, okay, Def Jam comedy, that's our kind of comedy,
Yeah.
And then one thing I loved about my brother, that he was so curious. So if he goes, okay, Def Jam's comedy, what's Lee Evans like? It might not be us, it's different, but I like this. And they're in the same industry, so I'll try that. But growing up on the estate, you kind of get clowned for that. Like, why are you watching Lee Evans? Like, that's not our thing. But really and truly, there needs to be more of that curiosity, because then you realize comedy is bigger than just Def Jam. So if that Def Jam dies, your love for comedy don't die, because you've got a wider range. The same with music. Like, I would listen to grime music because that was our thing. And then you realize the grime artists are inspired by rock bands and all of this stuff. And then, but you're so in tune of like grime and what they're talking about that a song about love or a cheesy pop song, you think it's corny, but really and truly that just expands your worldview. And I don't think we do that enough as like a culture and working class. And it's the same with like
well, a lot of it is driven by fear.
Fear,
because you kind of, if you say you like Billie Eilish, you could be, you could get beaten up.
Yeah. And it's like, and I do think that of like even if I look at the people like who are like stop the boats guys, it's like, you guys don't know anyone black. You don't know anyone who's outside of your world, so you think it's, oh my God, you just have this like weird view of.
I think you're bang on there, man. I've said this before, but I think Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy did so much for race relations in America without even trying to, simply by being hilarious.
Yeah.
There would have been white guys who didn't know anyone black going, I'm going to hang out with one of those guys because they are fucking funny.
Yeah.
Similar.
Literally.
Gay guys, I'm telling you. These guys are hilarious. I'm
telling you, like, I grew up in a really religious church,
Most of them are.
Proper like homophobic.
Okay.
Would be like, growing up, I used to think, if you were gay, you were demon possessed, right? Yeah. No, I'm being for real. That's what I used to think. So you have this weird, like, mythical figure of gay that I met. Then I like started gigging, playing football. You meet a gay guy, you're like, oh, he likes football. He's just like me, and it just humanizes people, and it humanizes things. And I think what's happened is like when I see all my friends that have been like lost in the streets and stuff like that, and this like other things like whether it was drugs and stuff, I just think, you lot, this small thing it seemed so big at the time.
Do you know? Here's another thing that's interesting. I think sometimes people are nervous to ask questions.
That's another thing.
So we kind of know each other, but even me, I still feel that initial thing of, can I ask you about trainers?
Yeah.
But within these conversations, barriers break down. And you're quite literally putting your feet in someone else's shoes.
So I remember
trying to understand, even to go back to what you said earlier, but the mentality of getting mugged, and your first thought is you're embarrassed. It's so strange to me, because if I got mugged when I was a kid, people are like, oh my God, are you okay? Is he okay? He got mugged, rather than Mensah got mugged. What an idiot.
Yeah.
It's your fault.
Yeah. I remember one time my brother, so I've got 3 older brothers, and the brother who's like a couple years older than me, he got robbed one time, innit? Yeah. But my oldest brother was like, there's a certain alleyway in it. We called it Baghdad. Yeah, if you go through that place, you don't know where you could end up, innit? Yeah. And my brother it's just the quickest route home. So, and obviously it was on our estate, like on our area. So we used to take that, innit? But my brother always said, don't take that, innit? Because you don't know he's there. And he got robbed, innit? He got robbed. And then he obviously was crying, come home. And my brother was like, where did you get robbed? It was like, he told him where. And he's like, it's your fault. Do you know what I mean? And there was no like sympathy. Because growing up, it was like, the world is shit. So you have to move accordingly, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
And then again, like, I just think there was just such a lack of knowledge in loads of things. And not only that was a lack of knowledge, there was a lack of wanting to be curious. So people go, I don't know anything. This is what I know, and this is everything. And it's like, it's not everything. You can know more. And that's what I think I loved about this game. It was like, oh, I really don't know nothing.
What is your final brilliant thing, Andrew?
I got to say, a football, man.
Of course.
Bring it full circle. A football was, again, like, sort of like Morley's, it kind of like...
We should explain to people listening. So, football runs deep in your blood. Your cousin is the Arsenal footballer, Eze.
Yeah. Proper baller.
Yeah, very good footballer. You were on Fantasy Football League.
Yeah,
so you had a
that's how we met, innit? Yeah.
That's right. Yeah. So you had a TV show where you were chatting about football.
Yeah.
But specifically a football. What does a football mean to you?
I think a football, because it's like, a football, man, I always felt like if you had a football,
Yep.
you could play. If that makes sense. So like, you didn't even need a pitch. You didn't need goals. But you needed a football.
Yeah.
So we could be in the streets, we could be on the road, we could have a football and we could play. And I always felt like, that's like one thing I always felt like, oh, if you have one thing, if you have a thing, you can play. Do you know what I mean? And like, even like when I look at Ebbs, like, he had the talent of football. It's like, he just had that. And that was the thing he had, and it's like changed his life and made his life better. And my thing was like, my football was comedy. And it's like, it just made me know, no matter the scenario, I could play. Do you know what I mean? Like, I could be in a dire state, like when my dad was ill, like, and I was cracking jokes with him, and he just have a bit of life left. Do you know what I mean? And it was like, you can play, and that was the thing about football growing up. And it just felt like it also kept a lot of people on the straight and narrow, and it kept a lot of like community, because we would play football with each other. Like, we used to do like when I was growing up, we used to climb into Millennium School. It was the first. They had like an Astro pitch in it. So every Saturday we would climb in up the school and we'd do whites versus blacks, because we didn't have no bibs in it. So it was just easier to determine the colours. And then everyone that played at Millennium when I was a child, they're still my friends till today. And it was just built that bond of like bragging rights and like improvement.
Who would win?
Do you know what? Let me not lie, yeah? It was 50-50. Because the whites were organised. They didn't have as much talent, but they knew how to play in a system.
That's interesting.
They had a back four.
Right.
They knew how to... Because a lot of the time, like, we wanted the limelight, innit? So the blacks everyone wanted to be a striker, everyone wanted to be Thierry Henry. But really and truly, we didn't play with a system, innit? So sometimes they could win out of proper, like, tactics and stuff.
Yeah.
And
Can
then,
I ask what you would do if the teams weren't even?
oh no, we'll do one sub, or we'll do like, let's say you had 9 players, we had 10 players, one will be a sub.
Gotcha.
And if you were mixed race, you could choose what.
Yeah, that's an interesting point.
You could choose what team you wanted to be on that week, and we could do transfers and stuff like that.
Oh, interesting.
It was proper fun. Like, it was, and I just remember it being like such a glee time.
Do you still play football with those boys?
Yeah. So still play like now. Obviously now we can't climb over. We pay to go on the pitch.
What does it feel like watching your cousin play for Arsenal and knowing him since he was a little boy?
Honestly, it's like, it's so unsurprising to me.
Right, that's funny.
Honestly, I'm not gassed.
Yeah.
Like, I always knew, like, this is his level. Because there was, like, Ebbs, I want to say, Ebbs also wasn't the only sick footballer on the ends. There was 2 guys, there was twins, Gabriel and Raphael. They were the best. They were better than Ebbs. But, like, they stopped playing football because they became Jehovah's Witnesses. So they literally just quit when they were, like, 17 or something. Wow. But they were twins. One was right-footed, one was left-footed.
Oh,
they
my
both played
God.
up front.
Oh.
It was a joke how good they were. But
isn't it funny? There was a really good kid when I was younger who was religious, and we'd play on a Saturday. But when we played on the Sunday, we played Sunday afternoon, and occasionally you'd play them Sunday morning,
and he
couldn't play.
Yeah.
So we would always beat them.
Yeah.
If he was, because it was like when we play Mitchell Sunday morning.
Yes.
Get in.
Yeah.
He's with the Lord.
But yeah, but it was like, it's unsurprising. He was that good. Like, literally growing up, I just never thought he wouldn't play in the Prem.
But it must be so strange. To,
I just think
he plays for England as well.
I think like the journey, because he like got released loads of times and stuff. It was like, if you didn't know him, you wouldn't you wouldn't expect a kid who got released at Millwall at 18, who played in the Championship, would be now playing for England and be one of the stars of the Premier League.
Yeah.
But for me, that was just like, I don't know. It was just, I don't know. It would be like asking me watching you or Chappelle bomb at an open mic gig. But it's like, I know you guys, I just know you'd be where you are. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. Like,
no,
it's so like, he was so good.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And he was small. Like, I remember, I've seen Ebbs, do, like, I remember he nutmegged the guy and ran through the guy's legs. Charlie, I know Charlie, I'm still friends with. He nutmegged Charlie and ran through his legs. And, like, Charlie, like, couldn't see him. It was so funny. And I remember thinking,
it must be so cool to have those moments where, you know, for Charlie to watch him to be able to turn to his kids or his wife or whatever and just say, he ran through my legs
yeah, literally. And it's like, I think the main thing with him was like he grew quite in a few years, like he grew really strong. So then his technical ability, because if you think about it, he was very small as a kid, so he had to be technically sufficient.
And then he sort of grew into his body,
and then it was a joke from there. Like, I remember, like, I watched him. So when his first trial at QPR, I drove him. So it was the first. I was working at BT Sport.
Yeah.
And I was an apprentice at BT Sport, and I just got my first paycheck. I bought a car. Stupidly, I bought a car, and I had no money. I had no money to even put petrol in the car. So his sister Kelechi was like, Andrew, can you take her to this trial, innit? And I was like, Kelechi, let me not see. My car should be in a showroom because it can't move. I ain't got no money. So she gave me £20 to put petrol in the car, and we drove from like Greenwich to QPR, wherever it was. But it's the first time I'd driven in London, so I drove in London, congestion charge, all of that. I got fined, everything. And I remember, like, we got on a motorway and I missed a turning, so he was late to his trial. And I remember thinking, oh, I fucked this thing up for him, man. I really fucked.
How is he in that journey? Is he still relaxed?
Calm. He's very calm. He's never
even though he's late.
Yeah, he's very calm. We're both calm in the car.
Yeah.
But I was thinking, I hope I haven't fucked this up for this boy, that sort of thing. But he was calm and he did really well. He ended up getting signed. And I remember, and he got signed. And
did you stay and then drive him home?
Yeah. And the thing is, like, he got signed for a year, which is really a trial still. Because it's really 6 months in a season. So he still had a lot of work to do. Like, nothing was really handed to Ebbs. Do you know what I mean? And he played in under-23s, and then he started playing in the QPR. Then he went to Palace for years, and then, like, wasn't getting on. Like, Vieira wasn't playing him, and then he had to work, and he ended up winning the FA Cup. And it's like, he deserves everything. So I don't look at it like,
yeah.
It was also very good. That's another thing. Like, it's like I always say this. Like, I generally don't believe there's any favors in life.
But what's so lovely about that as well is that you kind of go. You drove him, you waited, he played really well, he did his bit, but behind his excellence is kindness and family.
Yeah, for sure.
Through that
and
one
there's
story,
always that.
It takes a village to raise it.
Yeah, like even in my own career, my friend Kelvin, I said, is a sore loser. Yeah, to do open mic gigs when I was starting, you had to bring someone. He came to every gig for the first 2 years. Yeah. Every single gig.
Yeah. It's funny, isn't it?
And it was just like, so like.
But everyone has that story, don't they? Of those your mate Kelvin, that you began. Look, can you come? And he'd watch you be brilliant. He'd watch you be terrible. But he becomes your kind of person to lean on. And now,
so I think when people ask him about me, he goes, well, obviously, because he's seen everything. And it's the same with Ebbs. Like, we just think like, yeah, man, like, he was this, like, I've never seen him play. But I remember one time, he was playing for Millwall, and there was a guy who had a lot of hype, who played for Millwall in the same team, because the guy had just signed his professional contract, and I think there might have been 15, and this guy who played in midfield had signed his professional contract. So there was like an unusual amount of people at this academy game, because a lot of people wanted to see that guy, and Ebbs was just there. And they played Colchester, and I remember Colchester had this like the guy who had a lot of hype over was playing defensive midfield, and this guy in Colchester had like a Maradona type hair, and he was big, and he was just like bullying this guy. And so this everyone at this hype job that everyone came to see was just getting like ripped apart in it. And Ebbs hadn't touched the ball for about 15 minutes. And I remember like, so there's a corner, keeper smothers it and like tries to clear it, but he like, you know them clearances where it goes super high and not very far?
Yeah.
So Ebbs is on the edge of the box, the ball's coming high. This is his first touch of the game, right? The ball's coming super high. If he was watching on TV, you wouldn't have seen the ball. It was that high. And it came down and he just first touch just deaded the ball, spanned the guy, played the guy through 1-0, just like that. And I remember thinking, oh, that's what it really means to be good at something, like sort of thing. And I remember that. And then after that, he just ran the game. I remember, and it's stuff like that I saw, and I think, oh, like, yeah, that's what he's always been doing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
But it all started from that first journey.
Yeah.
Isn't that great? I really enjoyed that. Ladies and gentlemen, the fantastic Andrew Mensah.
Thanks for having me, man. Finally, we made it.
Finally.